Hello everyone, welcome to or welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Chloe and I would love for you to subscribe to see more videos like this. Today I am doing 10 tips for Disneyland Paris. I thought I would just share a few things that I found useful when I've been there. So I'm going to share 10 today, and if you found these useful, I might do another 10 in a future video because I'm sure I can think of more things. So tip number 1 is transport. How are you getting to Disneyland Paris? You have, I'd say, 4 options. You can either get the plane, you can go on the ferry, you can get the Eurostar or the Eurotunnel. The first way you could go is by plane, which is a very short journey. I think it's like an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on which airport you go to, because there are 2 different ones in France. That's if you're going from like London. The plane journey is very short, but then you have to think about going through security and waiting for a few hours before the plane, and then you have to get the transfer once you get the other side to Disney. Now, the second option you could do is the Eurostar, which is basically just a train. It is exactly like a train, like any other you've ever been on. You just kind of get aboard, put your luggage away, and then just sit on the train. And they're taking away the direct train. There used to be a London to Disneyland Paris direct train. You just kind of get on, get off. But they're taking that one away very soon, so you won't be able to do that one anymore. You can still go by the Eurostar, but there is going to be a stop in between. So you'll have to get off and then on a different train, navigate your way through France. That could be an issue for you if perhaps you don't want to navigate round in like a station in France that you're not familiar with, you don't know the language very well. You've also got like maybe young kiddies, you don't want to like get off and then get back on. But again, it is a relatively quick journey. Now, the third and fourth option you could do is either the ferry or the Eurotunnel, which both require you driving. So if you're not fond or don't really want to drive in France, these 2 options aren't for you. So it's either the ferry or the Eurotunnel. You either can get an overnight ferry or like just like the same day ferry, or you can get the Eurotunnel. So with the driving, I drove myself and I think it was pretty easy. A lot of it is just motorway. If you go by the Eurotunnel, it is just a lot of motorway. So you're just driving basically straight the entire time, bar a few turnings. But it's relatively straightforward. But if you don't like motorways, it's not great because it is all motorways. And the Eurotunnel only took like half an hour once you're on it, plus like an hour or so for boarding. So it is quicker than if you were going to an airport. The security is really simple and you don't have to get out all your luggage. You don't have to get out. You can just stay in the car the whole entire time. So on the ferry, for the security checks and things like that, you can stay in your car again. But once you are on the ferry, you will have to get out your car while the ferry is going. And then you get back in your car when it stops. With the Eurotunnel, you can just stay in your car the entire time. I don't know if there is different ferry ports, but the ferry ports that I know of, you had to get off and you have to drive through a few different countries. So the car journey is longer on the ferry than if you got the Eurotunnel. My personal favourite way to get to Disneyland Paris is by driving and going in the Eurotunnel. It's just very simple. You can have as much luggage that will fit in your car. Everybody can stay in the car for security, boarding, everything. If you wanted to, you could stay in the car from the moment you leave the house to the moment you get to Disneyland Paris. It's very good if you have anxiety. You can just basically stay in the car the entire time. You're surrounded by your things. You don't have to like get out and do anything. It's just very simple and straightforward. So that is my personal preference, but I did just give you an outline of like pros and cons for them all, so you can make that decision for yourself and what best fits for you. Point number 2, I will be doing a full video on this point, so I'm not going to go into it full depth, but I will give you a little outline. It's Disneyland hotels or off-site hotels. So with the Disneyland hotels, you are surrounded by the magic. You are like, all the theming is still there. It's very much Disney theming in all of the different places. And you're very much close to the parks. You get like free buses. And if you drive, it's like 5-10 minutes tops, like from any of the Disney resorts. It's very, very close. You get access to extra magic hours, which is always a good benefit. And you can meet Disney characters and things like that. Being a Disney hotel, it is going to be more expensive for all these extra things like the extra hours. the theming and everything like that, it does add up, and Disney hotels are an added cost. The off-site Disney hotels are still very good. I have stayed in a couple different ones off-site, and they have both been still relatively close. There was a free bus still. It takes a little bit longer, I'd say about 20 minutes maybe instead of 5 to 10. And the theming isn't Disney, though there is still some theming there, but it will not be of Disney characters. Then as it's an off-site hotel and it's not technically Disney, that means that the prices are going to be cheaper for these hotels. So that's where I'm going to leave it for this point. I am going to go into a full video of pros and cons for Disney hotels compared to off-site ones, but that is a basic few points for you to try and decide. Point number 3 is that you can get free Disney badges. You can pick these up if you're staying at a Disney hotel, and if not, you can get them at the town hall in Magic Kingdom. Now you can get birthday badges and first visit badges here, and during some of the seasons you can get a 30th anniversary badge or a Christmas badge if you're there for those seasons as well, and they are completely complimentary. You just have to ask the staff for them either at the check-in desk or, as I say, the city hall, or is it called the town hall? But basically is that big main building in the kingdom. Point number 4, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, is extra magic hours. You can only get these if you're staying at a Disneyland hotel, or I think you also get extra magic hours if you have an annual pass as well. Extra magic hours are usually for about an hour, and it differs per day, per season. So you will have to check online. You can do that on the app. And during this time, it is only Disney hotel guests and annual pass guests that can go in. So there isn't a lot of people and it's very empty. It is the best time to get empty castle shot photos because there's barely anybody there. You'll not really have any people in your photos, so you can get a lovely picture in front of the castle. It is also a great time to start doing the big rides and the characters. Now, not all characters and rides are open during extra magic hours. It's only a few of them, so you will have to check. But if they are not open, you can either do the rides and characters that are open during this extra magic time, or you can start queuing for these big rides and big main characters so you can get there for the first slot when the park officially opens. It is a great time to get extra things done, and if you are trying to get as many rides done as you can, it is a great time to check off as many rides as you can that are open during these extra magic hours. They do happen, I think, every single day that the park is open, but as I said, you will need to check the timings. You will also need to present either your annual pass or your hotel check-in key to show that you are allowed to get in for these extra hours. Point number 5 is Disney characters at Disney hotels. So if you are staying at a Disney hotel, you can meet certain characters at your Disney resort. For example, I recently stayed at the Hotel Cheyenne and I got to meet Woody. It is also Jessie you can meet there. Jessie and Woody swap every 15 minutes at this hotel, and it is in the main building, and that is a great way to meet characters with little to no queues because it is just for hotel guests. Also at the Hotel Santa Fe, I know they do Mickey or Minnie, and at the Marvel themed hotel, they use some Marvel characters there in a minute. So you will have to check what characters are there, but at every Disney hotel you can meet select characters, which is a great way to skip queues for meeting characters. Tip number 6, character breakfast. A great way to meet characters, but not only that, you get to go in the park early if you book the right time. So if you book an early time for breakfast, the first time slot, you actually get in the park earlier than most people. And it's kind of like a character buffet breakfast. It's a buffet breakfast full of so much food to choose from. And you get to see so many more characters without queues. They walk around the restaurant and come to your tables. And so it's a great way to see lots of characters in a short period of time with no queues. Tip number 7, if you don't have the Disneyland Paris app, I think you should definitely download it before you go. It is such a handy app to have. When I went there, they didn't have any physical park maps, and the only way I could see a park map is on the app on the phone. So on the Disneyland Paris app, they have the digital map of both parks, so you can see where all the rides are, you can see where you are, and you can get directions from where you are to where you want to go. They also have on there all the different park times of when it's open for each day, and you can see the days in advance, and you can see those times for extra magic hours as well. And there is a few other features on there as well, so it's definitely a handy app to have. Tip number 8 is reservations. Now this may not be relevant if you are watching this video when this is no longer going on, but currently as I'm filming this, reservations are still needed in the parks. So what you need to know, because I was very confused about this before I went. So for the park reservations, if you are staying at an off-site hotel or anywhere other than Disney, you need to have reservations. Even if you have an annual pass, you still need to book reservations. The only way that you don't need to book reservations each day is if you are staying at a Disney hotel. It can be any of the Disney hotels, as long as it is a Disney-owned hotel, then you automatically get access into the parks every day of your stay. So you do not need to book reservations if you are staying at a Disney hotel. However, if you are staying off-site, regardless if you have tickets, annual passes already, you do need to book reservations. I think you can only book reservations for 3 days. So I would suggest booking the first 3 days of my visit, and then as you use one day, you can add another day. So say you're going Monday to Friday, you can book Monday to Wednesday in the reservations. As soon as Monday's gone, you can then book for Thursday. But it is not guaranteed that you will get a park day. Especially at busy times, you might only be able to do those 3 days because the next day, the Thursday, for example, might already be booked up and full for the day. So if you are wanting to go more than 3 days, you might want to go for a Disney hotel where you get automatic access. If not, it is very possible you could get all 5 days of the stay if you're off-site, but you would definitely get 3, but the other 2 are only possible if it's not full already. Tip number 9 is for parades and fireworks. If you are wanting to see the parade and fireworks and want the best spot, you have to get there, I'd say, at least an hour before. At least an hour before is when everyone starts getting those like proper good spots, like right in front of the castle, right in the centre. If you leave it any later than that, you probably won't get a spot right there. It always fills up really, really quickly. So the earlier you get there, the better. But earlier than an hour, I wouldn't say is necessary because no one's really queuing that early. The best spots for the fireworks is right in front of the castle because they do projections on the castle. They have like a whole projection show as well as the fireworks. So if you are wanting to see those projections, the best spot is anywhere down Main Street and in front of the castle. If not, you might not see the projections. Off to the left and the right of the castle is good spots if you're just wanting to see fireworks, but you won't be able to see the projections. So if that is something you are wanting, make sure you get there early to see the projections and get a good spot for that. As for the parades, I wouldn't say you need to get there as early as you do for the fireworks. I'd say half an hour and you'd still get a good spot for the parade, I reckon. Now the best spot if you want to see sometimes they have like on stage stuff and like projections and like things in front of the castle. So if you want to see all that, then the best place again is in front of the castle. If you aren't so bothered about the little castle-y bits, then a really good spot is in between the castle and It's a Small World. The parade either comes towards It's a Small World or it comes out at It's a Small World, which means anywhere from It's a Small World to the castle, all down that side, you get a really good spot for the parade, and it's really, really empty. There's barely anybody there. There's barely any people. So you get a spot right at the front, no people, and you see the parade and everyone. Like, you still get the full parade experience. You just don't get the in front of the castle stuff. But you will still see all the floats and the characters all coming past. And it is a great spot if you don't want to be in the centre of the crowds. And tip number 10, the last tip of this video, is about Disney snacks. Now, there is so many places you can get Disney snacks. There's loads of shops, loads of quick service places you can get Disney snacks, but we all know that some Disney snacks can be expensive. And if you are trying to stay on the budget side and don't want to spend like €5 on a cupcake or whatever, then a great tip is to go to Val d'Europe, which is a little mall, which is like a 5-minute drive or a 5 to 10 minute train ride. It's literally one stop on the train, literally 5 minutes in the car, and you are at the mall, and they have a giant supermarket there, and all of the snacks are so much cheaper because it's not Disney prices. Everything you can get, crisps and like chocolates and baguettes and all sorts of things that most you can get for €1 and under. So a really good thing to do is like you could get stuff for sandwiches, snacks, drinks, anything, and it will all work out a lot cheaper if you decide to go there. And as I say, it's so close by. So that is 10 tips for Disneyland Paris. I really hope they were helpful and that you enjoyed watching this. I think I'm going to do another 10 tips in a future video, so subscribe to see that, and like to let me know if you've enjoyed this video. I really hope that they helped, and I hope you have a wonderful trip when you next go. So have a lovely day, a lovely trip, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!